Hi, I'm Will Johnson. We're here in Regent's Park for Frieze Art Fair 2013. Frieze, now in its 10th year, is a world-leading art fair. It was created in 2003 as a forum for the selling and displaying of post-millennium art. This year it's undergone some changes to develop a better viewing experience. These include selling 25% fewer tickets, and there are only 152 galleries here. Let's have a look around. I'm here with James Green at the Stephen Friedman Gallery. We're in front of a work by Jennifer Rubel from 2013, which is called A Portrait of the Artist.
So around this time last year, the artist was 8 months pregnant and was thinking of concepts for work. It's a time when, as a female artist, she felt that people were surprised that she was still working and also getting ready for motherhood as well. She took essentially a scan of herself at 8 months pregnant naked, which she then has scaled up to the figure that you see here. But all her work is always interested in participation and sort of breaking down the boundary between viewer and artwork. And normally when you approach a big sculpture like this, there's some sort of reverence to it. You can't touch it, you're meant to stand away from it. With this, you're actively encouraged to get inside it and become part of that. So she's questioning that dynamic, and as you were saying, there is a loss and there's this element of emptiness when it's not filled. And hopefully as someone who approaches it, you'll be willing to sort of fill that void and therefore make the sculpture whole. Because really it's not a complete work without someone in it.
We're right in the middle of the fair. I'm in front of the Jeff Koons work. Lots of security teams are needed here because of the extreme tactility of the works. You just want to go up and touch them. They're actually made out of aluminium, although, as you can see, they look like they're made out of plastic. And the cat in particular looks like it's made out of some kind of horrible day-glow child's toy. We're not allowed to go up. It's half festival toilet, half very upmarket hotel. This is the Dan Graham piece, which is called Groovy Spiral. It kind of blurs the lines between architecture and art, a theme which I think is very typical of the Frieze Art Fair. As you can see, we're in a half transient space as it is. Adrian Searle from The Guardian has said it's kind of like a metaphor for the art fair itself because, as you can see, people walk into it. It's very interactive, and you can look in, you can look out. It's a bit of a vitrine, but also reflective. I quite like it. There's nothing at the end. Do you like it? When you're in the middle of it and you're looking through 2 panes of curved glass, you get to quite a strange effect. It's like when you're in an elevator and you're looking and there are thousands of images reproduced, but it's curved as well. Maybe that's what he was thinking of. I always think it's quite interesting when the lighting is implemented in a different way, and there is ambient lighting here from above, but the gallery's also created a bit more brightness here, and the wooden floor is certainly kind of, brings it a certain palette, I would say. Or is that bullshit? I'm here with Jane and Peter at the Frieze Art Fair. We're talking about this Sarah Lucas work, actually. I was wondering whether it was a little unsettling, but Peter was saying you weren't so unsettled by it.
No, it's partly familiarity. I've seen quite a few images of Sarah Lucas, and so I know what to expect. It's immediately recognisable.
Yeah.
And so it seems like variation on a theme.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it's not disorienting at all. I think 20 years ago it might have been.
Certainly. She's certainly a very sexual artist. Do you think her gender plays an important role?
I'm sure it does for her. I'm not sure it does for me.
I see. The plinth is also an important part of it. She's noted that before, that people don't see the plinth as part of the artwork.
Yeah.
Does that structure your viewing experience at all?
Of course. I mean, it lifts it off the ground, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so,
it lifts it up.
It would be different if you were peering into it So it certainly structures my viewing experience.
What do you think?
I think it would look very odd if I was leaning over and staring into the loop.
Well, maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
It's kind of convergent up,
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly,
It's like spewing out. Manhattan penthouse meets Manhattan streets is what our friend Jamie had to say about this. They're very strange works. They're actually individually priced and individually bought. They are put together by an artist called Rob Pruitt. He's a New York-based artist. He's American. Each one is $30,000. Some of them have been bought. The fact that they're in a crowd is very interesting because they're all facing the same way, but each one's individuality is really brought out by the fact that they're all together. They've got very funny faces. I'm not entirely sure what to make of them. I like the fact that the plinths are different for every single one. There's certainly something very self-reflexive about this artwork. It's like we're looking out of the gallery and back into it. It reminds me of the groovy spiral that we saw earlier. Frieze is divided into two different parts. There's frame and there's focus. We're in the frame section now, where newer galleries are showcasing a younger generation of artists' work. I'm just going to walk over here to the PSM gallery from Berlin, showing a very popular work at the moment, Eduardo Basaldo's Boulder. I'm here with Sabina from the PSM gallery in Berlin. We're looking at Eduardo Basualdo's work.
He has been studying set design as well as visual arts, so he likes to deal with the illusion, with the fake, with images which are in reality given, but he recreates them and they are obviously not real, but they are supposed to tell a story, as drawing or painting can tell stories. He very often stages sets where also the viewer can engage.
Right.
Like
okay.
here you will notice that a lot of visitors like to engage with the piece.
In Frieze this year there's been a lot of works on display that have been interactive in this way.
Yes.
Have you noticed that as well?
Yes, I did.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it something that you like?
I've seen that too. I think for an art fair it's nice to show artworks which are easier to understand for the viewer, especially the viewer who's not trained as much.
Okay.
This
and you
work
think the
has both.
participation
It's
helps
easy
in that?
for the viewer to engage. At the same time, it keeps in your mind, and it at the same time also talks about a lot of art theory, art theoretical questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sabina.
You're very welcome.
What do you think of the work?
I think it's a fantastic piece of work. You know,
Yeah?
it gets people talking. It's we're like live sculptures and.
Yeah.
I think it's a very different piece now than it was when it started. When it was first shown in 67,
67, that's right.
it was an interactive piece, so members of the public could get in and out of it.
Most common questions are you naked under there? Are you holding hands? And what are you doing under there? Said with a slight bit of innuendo.
I see.
Quite a lot of it.
Yeah.
I think people project their own things onto it, you know.
Personally, I'm projecting things onto it now that naturally wouldn't have been projected onto it in 1967. And there's a very powerful historicity to it. I'm thinking Burqa at the moment. Has anyone else said that?
That's very interesting. No one's ever said that yet.
Are you getting an interesting view of the Frieze Art Fair from the inside out?
Fascinating.
Yeah.
People watching is fantastic.
Yeah? Any favourite moments so far?
Well, one of the really nice things has been that it's happened a few times now that people have recognised the work as being that of James Lee Byers, who's now dead, and have gone, oh, that's James's piece, and have been friends of his, and have then told us a story about him or said how much they like to see his work being performed again, and that's been lovely actually.
It's like they've seen an old friend.
Right.
Yeah, it's really nice.
I always find, looking at the people more interesting than the actual art.
You are the first people to say that, actually.
But the art was pretty good too.
Yes.
Some of the stuff is screaming, buy me, I'm modern. I'm really, where art is.
Are you saying that's in a positive way or a negative way?
I'm saying it in any way you like to take it.
I
can't
see.
be negative about other people's art, can I?
There were a few great pieces,
Yeah.
but a lot of stuff.
Of stuff happening from the people to the art.
People do like to dress up because it is sort of like a special occasion, I suppose.
I had an interesting experience at Frieze Art Fair 2013. However, I can't help but feel that despite masquerading as a gallery experience, it's simply a forum for buying art and being seen buying art. That said, I did enjoy seeing the works of artists previously unknown to me. I think overall, Frieze Art Fair was indicative of a return to London of the art market from the Far East. It'll be interesting to see how that develops in the next few years. No one fucking smiles in there. You know, that was what pissed me off. I smiled at so many people, and no one would smile at me. That was what was upsetting. That's why I hate Frieze fucking Art Fair. So, yeah, I got all of that, so we can. Oh, really? Oh, good.